Rutherford Issues with Bryan Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
We're back here on Rutherford Issues, powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. New calendar, but same steady glow in every room. And Middle Tennessee Electric keeps you warm and ready for tomorrow, bringing good energy into 2026 and beyond with MTE. Well, this morning, we're going to talk about Rutherford County Emergency Medical Services, and Brent Carter is here. New year, and, it's been... 2025 was busy and busier than the year before and the year before that, and I'm sure 2026 is going to be about the same, huh?
Rutherford County keeps growing. I mean, there's nothing more that we can do.
We've talked a lot about growth. Mayor McFarland was on this morning, and, lots of development in downtown and the county, looking at that, and new roads and that kind of thing. How does your equipment keep up with that? I guess GPSs are updated pretty frequently when
all
they're new
our
roads.
trucks are GPSed, so like I may have mentioned in the past that you dial 911, it pings our dispatch, and you're going to get the closest truck wherever their GPS is, even if they were in Laverne.
Yeah.
And if they were closest to Clear Sienna, that's where you're going to get them.
I know there's that.
And then the roads. 99.
Boy.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that new access road off of Robert Rose that goes over to Medical Center. The city built that road, and it's amazing to me how a GPS unit knows that road's open and usable now.
I don't know how they
I don't either.
Yeah, it's like Google Maps. Yeah. I don't know how satellites, I guess.
Only thing I can figure. But you've got all those new routes and the maps. I always, both of my kids, no matter where they were going, would put an address in their phone. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Why do you do that? You don't know directions?" My daughter doesn't know directions, but I said, "Well, it tells you the fastest route." And so sometimes, yeah. For me to travel to like Rockvale, for instance, from my house near Siegel, it is faster for me to go out of the way and go 840 and get off on Veterans.
Yep. Time you drive down
go to
Medical
Rockvale,
Center.
And it's more miles, but it's quicker. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I guess you won't have to get creative too to get around traffic.
They do, and when they start working on Medical Center and they shut it down to one lane, that's our main vein into the hospital.
Yeah,
we can go. Thompson and go the back way, but that's pretty much a main vein for all those ambulances to try to get into the hospital and get out. Mm-hmm. So that jumping curbs and doing whatever you got to do, hit back roads. And then you got In-N-Out burger traffic.
Oh, isn't that nuts out there?
It's crazy.
I've never seen something like that. I mean, they've bought a parcel of land and built a parking lot.
Yeah.
And when the crowds die down, if that happens, they're going to sell that parcel of land. Apparently, they buy extra land just for parking lots and traffic flow.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, that's it. The traffic jams, it's tough. But you were saying about your kids. I mean, there's not very many people can read paper maps anymore.
No. What's a paper map?
Yeah, it's all on the phone.
When
I started, we get a call. We had to look it up on a paper map.
I know.
One to give directions and one drive.
Back, I've been working here since '93, but one of the things that we always had here were maps of the county, and you could always pick up a paper map. And year after year, the fewer people come in to get those, and every now and then we'll have somebody that calls and says,
we used to have
a map?
Poster size one at every station.
I bet.
So they could kind of look at it on their way out, or if they had a little downtime and they wanted to read a map.
Yeah.
And it had all our zones in it and everything. Of course, now we don't have zones because all the trucks are GPS, so it doesn't matter. If you're the closest, you're going.
Yeah. So I guess back then, if you were in that zone, you kind of stayed in that area?
You tried to stay in your zone, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because it kept the response times down and things like that, So move some extra trucks if we had any, if you had to do a Nashville transfer or you got hung up at the hospital, things like that. You could go into other people's zones.
Yeah.
But
I guess
now,
a lot of that
GPS works great.
Yeah.
A
lot of that's changed even since when you started.
Oh, yeah. I mean, heck, I was in a van ambulance.
Oh, okay.
The old van ambulance.
One of those old Chevy vans?
One of the Ford or Chevys, whatever. Yeah, but yeah, they were a van, But now, shoot, we got some pretty fancy ambulances now. But they're doing a lot more. These medics, man, they are so trained up and on top of their game right now that it's scary. They're younger, but we're doing street doctors is pretty much we've got protocols and standing orders and all kinds of stuff that we can do now that we never could do in the past.
Really?
Oh yeah. Patient care's over 100% better now, than it was 28 years ago.
I guess a lot of that, you think of those advances and technology helps with that, but it's also training and your paramedics probably go through continual training.
Oh, it's continuous. And, Brian Gaither put Trey Cook in over our education department, and he's got at least 2 classes a week offered to whoever wants to take them. And some are required, to keep your license. But there's some extra classes, and they're always full.
Oh, nice.
So he does a really great job with that. And like I said, these medics are doing stuff that we were never even taught, but we're learning a little bit of it.
I guess you think in an emergency, those first 10-15 minutes are crucial.
Yeah, and if it's a trauma, big car crash or something like that, trauma wise, first 6 minutes is very important.
So getting there
and being ready and on your game, to figure out the problem quick and then work your way down to the broken toe or whatever. But if they're having trouble breathing, you need to get on them quick.
Yeah.
You got a little systematic approach that as you're walking up looking, and then get after it.
I guess in a trauma, the broken bones and all that will take care of itself. But organ injury and breathing, that's the first thing.
And breathing, that, keep that blood pressure where it needs to be, to keep feeding the brain and the heart and everything else. And you got to have blood, you got to have air.
Yeah. Well, and with more people, seemingly more accidents, we have had several stories about, terrible injury crashes and fatalities and things like that of late.
I mean, we were talking about it. It's getting jammed up. The streets are getting jammed up. Everybody's still in a hurry, and then the weather. Might as well play the lottery off of what the weather's going to be. I mean, what's the temp today? Mark it down on your Powerball ticket.
Yeah.
What's the temp tomorrow?
Well, 40s
so the rains
today,
and the
30s tomorrow.
And we got ice coming or something. And they were talking about snow. I don't. It just makes things worse.
We definitely don't need an ice storm, do we?
Oh no. I mean, Rutherford County's grown so much, and their road systems kind of are catching up.
Yeah.
So
slowly,
but they're catching up.
But that the new Cherry Lane extension, whenever that gets done, that's going to help on the north side of town. I know veterans. I drove veterans just a couple of years ago, and I thought, who in the world is going to be out here? This is out in the middle of nowhere.
It works.
And now you look, and there's a hospital, West Lawn out there. And
UTOA.
Yeah.
I mean, MMC, they're building constantly.
Everything is just popped up around that. It's almost like a bypass, but those arteries are very important. And same thing when they built 840. There were years you drove down 840 and thought, man, no one's on this road.
Yep.
It was like the Autobahn.
And now it's almost like I-24.
Yeah.
But we got our Plainview station open now, so that's helping out down there on that end of the interstate too.
And who thought that area would grow like it has?
I know. They got that new school down there. So, I mean, it's just Rutherford County's
it seems
hitting
like
their borders.
And there may be a high school in that area.
Really?
Coming, I think that's one of the proposed areas or it's being looked at for a high school. Well,
I mean, the houses they're building down in there, I mean, I understand it.
Well, just look at Rockvale and the growth they've had since they put the high school out there.
No kidding.
It's just crazy to think. So, call volumes have been up, though, huh?
We're still averaging about 4,400 a month. And then, our transport, they're doing about 400 calls a month. So, it's around 5,000 calls a month. Yeah.
Now, transport is different. You've told us this before, but is that just like going from one facility to another?
To hospital, like, okay. Non-emergency calls to hospital, back to the nursing homes, things like that, where they can't drive or, they need to lay down in a bed to be transported back. Doctor's visits. We don't do too much dialysis anymore, but we still do some. Yeah. But, yeah.
A lot of those, I don't guess they're really pre-planned necessarily, but there's probably a bit of a heads up on those transports.
There is. On a lot of them, there's a heads up. The hospitals, they're going to call when they start cleaning out beds, and get them moved back to their nursing home or wherever they got to go, back to their own home. So they'll get calls.
Do, with that kind of call, it's not necessary you have a lot of medical equipment, or do you have different?
They have an ambulance. It's a stocked ambulance.
Okay,
but they're not ALS ambulance. There's one ALS ambulance, so if they need to be on a monitor or they need things like that, need a paramedic in the back. Most of the other times they're just EMTs.
Okay,
and it's kind of a stepping stone. They kind of learn how to do patient care, kind of learn to see some signs, and then they go on and get their advanced EMT. And once they get that, then they can get on the 911 side.
Okay.
And then, from there you can go paramedic and critical care paramedic and everything else.
Are there two that are on those trucks transport?
A lot of times there's a paramedic on every truck.
Okay.
But some of them will be with EMTs and some of them are double medic trucks. The busier trucks in the county will have double medics. So they can take turns. They don't wear themselves out.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
But a lot of them are the paramedic and an advanced EMT.
So the one with two in a truck, while one's driving, the other's the one doing the patient care?
The patient care. And it's the same on the other truck. If it's a BLS call, they can put the EMT in the back and do patient care and let the paramedic drive on the other side. But if it comes, if it needs a medic in the back, then it's kind of the best of both worlds, But unless you're at a busy station.
Yeah.
If you're at a busy station, and you got an EMT partner, you can stay pretty busy as a medic in the back.
I can imagine. I don't know what made me think of this, but I was watching this video of the Secret Service guys going through driving training to drive like the Beast, the president's car. Is there such a thing for paramedics and EMTs?
There's an emergency that we take online, and then they've just got some instructors where we used to do it at MTSU a lot. We'd set up a trail course, driving course, whatever you want to call it. They had to go forward, go backwards.
I did my driver's ed over there.
Yeah, do things like that. So, but we're getting back into that again. So we got 4 people that are trained to teach it now, so that's going to come back. Because a lot of these new younger, the younger generation, they growed up driving little cars or little trucks, and then you get behind one of those and they sway, they take longer to stop, they're so heavy, we got a lot of equipment on them trucks too.
On a windy day, I bet it's kind of interesting.
And they're like a dually pickup, but with a big box on the back of them. So they drive a whole lot different than what a lot of these younger kids have learned to drive.
It's not necessarily like driving, a big pickup pulling a trailer, but
but it's similar.
The weight may be similar.
Oh yeah, it's similar.
It's just all more, I guess, more compact than a trailer, but still the stopping.
And the wind with that big square box on the back of it, and then, making corners. Yeah, you gotta pay attention.
Yeah. Well, and you're also trying to get there
and then
fast
trying
as you
to back
can.
up.
Oh, yeah.
Even with the backup cameras, oops, still happens.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Well, we certainly appreciate all those who, over the holidays, some of the, staff had to come in and work on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and because it's 24/7, 365.
No matter what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Always appreciate it. Well, Brent, thanks for coming in today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Always
and
good to talk with you. Same to you.
First time on the radio this year.
That's right. First of many, we hope. And that's Brent Carter with Rutherford County Emergency Medical Services. That's going to do it for the show today. We thank you so very much for joining in. Until next time, take care out there.